The Bengals got some protection for Joe Burrow, but not before they addressed Al Golden's defense on day 2 of the 2025 NFL Draft. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com here at Paycor Stadium, where day 2 of the NFL Draft has wrapped up. And while the Bengals, they made a couple of moves. We're going to get into all of it right now on CBT. A quick reminder that you need to check us out wherever you get your podcast as well. We are not just on YouTube now. We are on Apple. We are on Spotify. We are on Amazon. And you can check out the conference calls with Shamar Stewart. Audio-only conference calls that the writers that we get to do after these guys are picked. And so Demetrius Knight Jr. tonight, when he was picked, shortly after that, we talked to the coaches. We posted that video here, of course, of Al Golden and Zach Taylor. And the audio is there as well. Plus, you get audio of a conference call. And then you can take CBT with you everywhere you go. It was our biggest day on audio since we joined the podcast realm from an audio standpoint. It became an audio platform. And so thank you so much for supporting that. Make sure you check that out. And let's dive into day 2, because I got to be honest. I understand the Shamar Stewart pick. I know a lot of people didn't. I don't understand the Demetrius Knight Jr. pick. I don't. And I am shocked by it. I was trying to predict when I did the day 2 video earlier today. I was trying to predict the shock, the surprise of what they would do. And linebacker, I certainly thought a linebacker was in play. Carson Swessinger, Demetrius Knight Jr. in round 3, Swessinger in round 2. But I didn't expect this. And what this was you have Kevin Winston Jr. available, Tate Ratledge available, Xavier Watts available. You have all of these guys available that clearly, to me, were ahead of Knight. And not just for me, for consensus. And by consensus, I mean anyone you look up. Demetrius Knight was like the 109th prospect for Daniel Jeremiah. He was 120 for Dane Brugler. And I'm not saying he's a bad player, because I don't think he's a bad player. I think he checks the character box, which is huge. I do think he's going to be able to help the defense. I do think he's probably going to be a day 1 starter and replace Jermaine Pratt and start alongside Logan Wilson when the games matter in 4 months in the preseason, 5 months in the regular season. Like, I think that's going to happen. I think they got a day 1 starter. And so when you look at it that way, it's like, oh, well, that makes sense. But it doesn't. It doesn't, because they could have had Tate Ratledge, a guy that I know they liked. That was high on their board. And for whatever reason, the tiebreaker went to linebacker. Went to a 25-year-old linebacker who's only started for 1 year. And yeah, he's good. He's a good player, solid player, high character guy, someone that they think is ready to go from can come in right away and start standpoint. Great. That's not more valuable than Tate Ratledge. You cannot convince me. There's no way. Not a 4-year starter that played right guard at Georgia. And so you have that, and that is the shock of the draft. And so I hate it. I got to be honest with you, I hate it. And you could have sold me on Kevin Winston Jr. instead. Would have bought that. He fell all the way to round 3, by the way. So if Kevin Winston Jr. can fall all the way to round 3, then Demetrius Knight can fall all the way to round 3. And, well, the Bengals, we'll get into who's left, but the safety position, certainly one where not a lot is left. And so, yeah, the Demetrius Knight, obviously we do grades after the draft. The shock of the draft. There's always one. That's the shock of day 2 for sure, and I think it's going to be the shock of the draft for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm going to try to hammer out and give you my thoughts on day 3, what could happen on day 3. We'll do that coming up. But so they pass on Tate Ratledge. They put themselves in a position now where they wait until round 3 to get a guard, which I did predict that. I thought it was going to be Kevin Winston Jr. round 2, and I think they were in on him, but they gave the edge to Demetrius. And so they get Demetrius Knight. Okay, fine. All right, you went that route. And then they go get Dylan Fairchild, a guard out of Georgia, played left guard at Georgia. Tate Ratledge played right guard. And my mind instantly goes to, man, they could have completely revamped that guard room. Like, say what you want about safety and linebacker and all those things. They could have completely revamped that guard room, because you could have gotten Ratledge at 49 and Fairchild at 81. Fairchild's an awesome pass protector. and you look at the PFF metrics or the sacks that he's given up and not given up, the conference call, which check it out, by the way. He said how it was an honor to be able to protect Joe Burrow and how he's just so comfortable. He's a former wrestler, so comfortable in pass protection, loves run blocking, wants to work on his run blocking, but he's so comfortable in pass protection because it's just the hand-to-hand body movement and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I could totally see him being a day one starter. Like, that's no doubts about Dylan Fairchild. I think that's a really, really good pick where it is. But the Demetrius Knight one, it's very underwhelming. It's very underwhelming for a guy that checks a lot of boxes. And yeah, maybe he would have been gone. Maybe. And this is a weaker linebacker class. And the Bengals, maybe they broke the tie with Tate Ratledge by saying, look, there's less linebackers available. This guy checks the boxes we need. There's more guards available. We could always get Dylan Fairchild. Fine. I still don't like it. And so that's that. And you're probably going to hear me talk about that more. But we have more to get to here. So I really like the Fairchild pick. Make sure you check out the conference call on our audio platform. Make sure you check out what Zach Taylor and Dan Pitcher had to say about it. But I just look at that second-round pick, and I'm like, ugh. Like, there were guys that, like, you could have revamped your offensive line room completely. You could have gotten the safety you were looking for. You could have done a lot of different things. But Al Golden straight up said when we asked him, because I asked him about it, and and I forget the exact quote. I was trying to figure out how I phrased the question, but he ended up saying, when we woke up today, that was the guy we wanted at that position. Obviously, we're looking at other positions, but if we were taking a linebacker today, that's the guy we wanted. And so we'll see if it works out. Demetrius Knight, certainly someone that I thought would be in contention for the Bengals in rounds 3 or 4, not round 2. Does it matter? Kind of matters when you had the third best guard in the draft, Tate Ratledge, on the board, had arguably a first-round safety and Kevin Winston on the board coming off of an ACL. He falls to round 3. You can't take him in round 3 because you didn't take the guard. That's the other scenario. They could have had Tate Ratledge and then Kevin Winston in back-to-back picks. I mean, how many mock drafts and PFF simulators was that the case, right? So it is what it is, and I'm going to pull up my list here because the day 2 of the NFL draft just ended shortly, just a little bit ago. And, well, there's a lot of guys, honestly. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders is a top player. Can't believe he's still available. The Bengals aren't going to be in on him. Guys that I think they could be in on. Maybe they still double dip at offensive line, and they prove me wrong here. Miles Frazier is still available out of LSU. Dylan Sampson, the running back out of Tennessee. Cam Scadaboo, the running back out of Arizona State. Keep an eye on Cam. I think they could be in on Cam. I think they could be in on one of these running backs now that were on day 3. I marked the sweet spot rounds 3 to 5 for running backs. And so I think we're in that again. It could have been round 2. Those guys didn't fall. And so I think the sweet spot now is going to be rounds 4 and 5 because there's going to be some guys there that the Bengals are in on. Jack Sawyer, by the way, still available. I think Jalen Reed, maybe they like him if they're looking at safety. He's available. Marcus Bowe, available. An interior offensive lineman from Purdue. If you're looking for edge help, Braden Swinson out of LSU is still available. Craig Woodson, senior safety out of California, available. Danny Stutzman. Maybe they double dip at linebacker. I could see it. He's available. Cody Simon out of Ohio State. Billy Bowman Jr., the safety out of Oklahoma, available. Gunnar Helm, the tight end out of Texas. I mentioned Cam Scadaboo. Ty Robinson, the defensive tackle out of Nebraska, and I like him a lot. In on him now. Jeffrey Bassa out of Oregon, the linebacker, available. Smail Mondin, the linebacker out of Georgia, available. Jaden Blue, one of my favorite players in this class. Good Lord. Jaden Blue, you bring that explosion, that speed to this running back room, and it's Chase Brown and it's Jaden Blue. I could be on board with that, certainly, on day 3 of this draft. And, man, there's a lot of guys. Bashul Tutin, in on him. Awesome. 4.3 elite speed, Virginia Tech, in on him. Elik, and I don't think they're going to take a receiver, but Elik Omener, and I said it wrong, Omener, it's a kid out of Stanford. That guy is a tough, hard-nosed wide receiver. I didn't do a ton of work on receivers. That's the guy I did, and obviously I can't even pronounce his name, so that shows you how little I did on him, but on the class as a whole. But that is someone that you talk to people across the league. I think he could go pretty early on day 3. Chris Paul Jr., someone to keep an eye on at linebacker. And let's see here. Barrett Carter, Clemson linebacker. If they're going to double dip, maybe it's Barrett Carter. Maybe that's the route they go. And if linebacker matters that much. But, like, that's why I keep coming back to it. It's like, man, you could have taken Barrett Carter at 119. You could have gone with Ratledge. Then you could have gotten Winston, and then you get, like, a Barrett Carter. And that's fine. It's linebacker. Like, if linebacker mattered that much, you should have spent some money on it in free agency. And they didn't. Anyways, DJ Giddens out of Kansas State, like him, the running back. Let's see here. Ty Hamilton, the defensive tackle out of Ohio State, someone that the Bengals met with. Could certainly see him being in the mix. The kid out of Mississippi, J.J. I think it's Peggy's. Jalen Rivers, the offensive tackle out of Miami. The Bengals have met with him. Certainly someone to keep an eye on. I think he could be in the mix, certainly, for the Bengals. I don't think they go edge again, but if they do, David Walker out of Central Arkansas is intriguing. Like him as a prospect. Trevor Etienne out of Georgia, nice pass-catching player. If they're looking for interior defensive line help, my favorite might be C.J. West. That's still available. Like C.J. West, if you can get him on day 3, you feel pretty darn good about that value. At least I would. I don't know exactly how the Bengals feel about him. But those are some of the guys to pay attention to. There are a lot more. There's going to be a lot more lists. I'm going to put it up at bengalstalk.com. My goal was to get this out. I mean, it's Friday night. Everyone's at the club partying, right? You guys are all partying. Wanted to get this video out to you as soon as possible. So I was like, all right, I have a list of guys. I'm going to use this list. This is before I recorded Locked On. I'm going to get this to Andrew so we can get it out to you. Please, please, please check out all of our videos, all of the Zach Taylor, Al Golden, Dan Pitcher reaction. Check us out on audio platforms. Check us out all the press conferences. The beauty of the audio is if you're in the car, you can listen. Or if you're on a walk, you can listen. Put your phone in your pocket and do whatever chore. I'm a big listener to stuff when I'm doing work and chores and stuff like that around the house, getting stuff done. And so trying to make it easy on you. You just search Cincinnati Bengals Talk wherever you get your podcast. That's going to do it for me. Night 2 of the NFL Draft in the books. No, I'm not going to grade it. Yes, Demetrius Knight was a huge shock. Let's not pretend he wasn't. Doesn't mean Dylan Fairchild wasn't a heck of a pick. Like that one a lot. Until next time, for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. We will talk to you on Saturday. The NFL Draft rolls on, and we aren't going anywhere. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Cincinnati Bengals Talk.